Okay. Okay. Hey, Coloroo, yeah. It's very like the old days. I've even got my beers ready. Now I'm waiting for Sasha to make their preparations. And then we'll be going into the games. But that gives people a bit of time to, make their own preparations, get a drink, get gathered, take a piss, whatever they need. Now, Sasha has said that they will be... hi.
Hello?
Hello. You got the replays?
Yeah.
You ready to go?
I need to find my phone, but we can start the first one.
Okay, so which one are we doing first? Let's see what games we got. We got Coloroo versus Romin, Tatanka versus Coloroo, Tatanka versus Urbane, Olive versus Fleur, and Romin versus Floor. So let's go... Ooh, Coloroo's already here, so I feel like we should maybe start with them.
Sure.
Just go.
Let's do Oliver Fleur last.
Yeah, so we'll do the Coloradoos. We can move. Yeah, let's start. You want to do Olive versus Fleur last, not one of the Tatanka games? I guess the Tankers were going to be predictable. So yeah, let's start with Colorado versus Romin.
Okay.
Okay. So, you got it ready on 3?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. In game. Accidentally paused it. Okay, so they may be Giants is apparently Romin, who I imagine is a new player because I don't recognise the name, and we got Coloroo, who's an old player, who the level of rust remains to be determined. Unfortunately, not bringing out their signature arty, bringing out Squirrel Pigeon, Ferret Falcon, Skunk Cam against Squirrel Mole, Falcon, Skunk Cam Boar. Oh, and before we get any further, Romin has already started with the moles in the corner. Collaroo's away, and that's going to get a farm. And possibly could have got a second if it wasn't on the other side. It would have been annoying to drag him round. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm helping out Sasha because they are apparently stoned as fuck. So... But you can also check out their channel. Ideally, what you want to do is have both open at the same time and copy and paste all your comments into both. Oh. So, no tier 3 from Colorado. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I went AFK to find my phone.
Oh, speaking of tier 3, instant bore from Romin. There's no way he gets away with that, right? I mean, Collar is going into cams, so actually he might get away with that. I appreciate the loyalty, Collaroo. Maybe you'll think differently once I start bad-mouthing all of your play. Why go for cams instead of falcons if you know your opponent's building a boar?
Well, theoretically, if you kill off all of tier 1, then, like, retreat.
I mean, cams aren't awful. I mean, cams can kill a boar quite efficiently.
Or race.
It's just the boar bomb afterwards that is, a pain in the arse for them to deal with. Also, with 4 cams, Kolaru can just rush the mill, like avoid the fight entirely. Oh, and Roman chickened out. Roman didn't pay for the boar and has gone straight into squirrels, setting up a mole push. Mass tier 1, but it is also 4 cams, so let's see how this goes.
Oh my god. He should have stayed there.
I think Kolaru can fight this. Like, the squirrels are very spread out, and they're in a weird choke point where it's hard for them to actually all get shots off. Plus, Kolaru's got the pigeons, microing the cams quite well to keep them alive.
Yeah, not a single one died. Okay, now
okay, one has finally died, but it's got its fair amount of value. I mean, that's 1 cam for like a dozen squirrels, plus 2 mole ones, so that's 120 food right there.
Yeah, like, just look at the army value graph.
Yeah. All of these choke points are really working in Kolaru's favour.
And none of them die again, goddamn.
Yeah. A couple of pigeons get shot, but who cares? In the grand scheme of things. This is good work from Kolaru. I think Romin really should have just stuck with the tier 3. And a quick Vic from Kolaru was, Romin says, that's too many dead squirrels, I'm going to surrender, which I don't think was maybe necessary. I've seen greater comebacks happen. I would have fought that out a lot farther, but presumably still new. So, okay, what's our game 2? Do you want to do Roman versus Fleur, and then we go on to the Tatanka games?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Like, Skull only beats Skrill Cam if, like, the Skull player has eco behind it. Like, or have farms on a second.
Well, there's also pretty good terrain for big meaty units to be taking on multiple small units. With all those rocks, like Kolaru was just able to get in between them. The squirrels are all spread out and weren't together. They weren't able to focus fire efficiently.
Yeah, but with that first attack, that was just him predicting the attack and getting there early enough. Like right when the moles were placed down and his army wasn't there.
Yeah.
The
moles.
Yeah, just a little better.
It would have been a very different fight, I think, if any of the moles had got out, just to provide some tanking. But in this game we got squirrel, lizard, mole, pigeon, squirrel, lizard, toad, pigeon, mole, falcon. So 5 tier 1s from Roman against squirrel, lizard, pigeon, falcon, skunk, badger. So Fleur is basically running this guy deck, except with lizards instead of moles. The 5 tier 1 deck is one I haven't seen for a while. You used to play it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I'd also always put boar instead of falcon, since boar just does so much more for you.
Yeah, I would put some tier 3 in there at the very least. Even if I was going with tier 2s, I don't think it would be falcon. I mean, I guess theoretically they're the ones that scale the best.
No, it would be falcon with tier 2, honestly. If you want the best deck with 5 tier 1.
Yeah, I think it needs some consideration. I gotta consider my options, but I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to. I guess if you've got the toads and all the other tier 1s, you probably don't need skunks or cams for like anti tier 1. Snakes for focusing down. Like what were you worried about? Like a boar or a badger? Maybe?
I mean, if you have like something like skunks, I mean, you just don't have that like flexible like all around DPS.
I guess.
I guess it's way too important because otherwise you'll just die to certain things. Like Skunk's late game will like, if you're fighting mass falcons, you're just gonna lose a lot.
I guess falcons are the most flexible tier 2 unit. It definitely wouldn't be ferrets. Can rule that one out straight away.
Like, you can win with all the other things, but they're just like more specialized and more niche on what they're good against. But to the point, it's not really worth it. It's just really be going Falcons.
Another quick, relatively quick tier 3 from Fleur putting down the Badger. I think Roman's got a good shot here. They're head in army. This mill won't tank much. Roman's got to make sure that they don't just blow up their toads on it. But even 3 toads, if those can actually get in on the squirrels, there's some good potential here for this to snowball.
Yeah, the most important thing is keeping his skills alive so he can like sustain a push through the base.
Well, the moles should help with that if they can get on the warrens, which are all pretty far forward. Fleur
this is a win.
Yeah, I don't know if Roman gets the underdog bonus from this, but this looks like another quick win. Just the super tier 1 focused deck being really aggressive. That Badger warren.
Yeah, we're all taking it.
Yeah, and all those warrens go down.
Like, in large number differences, tier 1 is really, really bad at defending instead of tier 1.
I mean, that is a tough push to defend against if you're not expecting it. Like, if you're not prepared for a squirrel, lizard, mole, toad deck to come at you, that's going to be difficult to defend with just squirrels.
Yeah, but like, even just the mass skill or mass squids or some mass school are reasonably common. So you need to be prepared against some mass tier 1 push regardless. Or mass tier 1 strat.
Okay, so I mean, we're going through these pretty quickly. Tatanka versus Kolaru next?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1-3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Fleur he put 60 food into the mill and then 180 into the tier 3 one, so he's going to be behind on food. It was basically a perfect setup for Roman's like aggressive push. I don't know if that's because, well, Roman had picked a pretty aggressive deck, so went well in his favour, but it was nice. It was well done by him to actually spot it and commit. Anyway, so Tatanka versus Kolaru. I'm excited about this. You got Squirrel Mole, Falcon Skunk, Snake Boar. So again, basically a this guy deck, but with Snake instead of Pigeon for Tatanka. And Kolaru with Squirrel, Pigeon, Ferret, Falcon, Skunk, Cam. I think is that what Kolaru was running in the first game against Roman? I think it was something similar.
Yeah. Yeah, and Kolaru's deck gets so hard countered by Tatanka's deck, it's not even funny. Boar specifically.
Kolaru doesn't have a great answer. Kolaru's answer to the boar is basically to spam Falcons, I guess. There's no... he's got the pigeons to try and counteract the snakes, but with such a tier 2 focused deck, Tatanka's going snakes immediately. I think the snakes could put in some big work here for Tatanka. But yeah, Tatanka's deck just seems overall a lot more solid. Map-wise, I mean, I haven't got to talk about a map this whole game, but it's also a Tatanka-favoured map. They've got far more mills. They've got mills in every direction, whereas Kolaru has... Well, I guess the mill next to them is pretty far out of the way, and then they can go around the corner for that other mill. But that's still... But that's, you know, harassable from the low ground with Falcons pretty easily, so I would feel nervous about taking it. So I think this is also a Tatanka favoured map. Tatanka coming in with a snake. Let's see how much damage he can do. He's going straight for the pigs. That should be 2 dead pigs. Unless this pigeon comes out and is the hero that we all want it to be.
And the thing is, like, Skill Pigeon is so much weaker than Skill Mole.
Oh, both the pigs survive. Great pigeon micro. Okay, can it happen twice? Okay, that's 2 snakes Tatanka has thrown away for essentially no value. If anything's going to give Kolaru a chance here for an upset, this is it. They've got a massive army advantage. Tatanka's just put 60 food into a mill.
Yeah, thinking else that he sold off the snakes.
Tatanka getting a lot of moles out so they can build their army quickly. Let's see if Kolaru still has good cam micro.
He did not commit. He lost so much army.
He lost a lot of army there.
Brain.
He got 1 Warren. That was a poor attack by Kolaru.
Yeah,
They still aren't ahead, but I don't think they can realistically push.
Oh nah, I mean they need eco.
Yeah, Tatanka secured the second mill. We're about to hit the 4-minute mark. Is Kolaru trying to 1-base all in this? I mean, that's a lot of tier 2. Falcon, Skunk, and 2 Cam Warrens.
Yeah, this is like some crazy, not crazy, but it's like some. Yeah, this is just all in.
Yeah, Tatanka's coming in as well.
Tatanka's gonna hit during the switch. That's why this is why school is so ridiculously good.
That's 1 farm down. The tier 2s are coming up though. I think
Kolaru
holds.
Is he gonna hold?
Yeah, Kolaru holds.
I guess he didn't lose any tier. Oh, he kept the cam alive. Holy shit!
He lost 1 cam. He lost the pigeon warren. He lost a farm. But that is, he's got a massive army advantage again. The Tanker's eco lead hasn't really had time to develop.
That was a massive.
He's got to come through the water, but he's got the cam and the skunk. He's got some decent anti-tier 1. It's just, this attack isn't going great.
Oh, he's gonna hold though. Holy shit! Oh my god.
Okay, the cams get out of there again, but yeah, Kolaru has failed 2 attacks where they had quite an army advantage. It is tough terrain, admittedly, to attack through. You've either got to go through the water, or you take that long path round through the, like, getting shot at across the cliff. Okay, cams coming in. That's 3 cams. I mean, Kolaru just needs to get his army together. He's constantly moving in when only half his army is built.
Yeah, like cams need support by themselves, so you get focused out really, really quickly.
Okay, Kolaru's running out of time here, and that eco advantage is starting to pay off. Tatanka has overtaken him briefly in the army graph. I wonder if Kolaru was thinking of base racing. That mill's going to die instantly. What was the goal with that? Is it just for tanking? Like, it tanked 10 HP. This is a good engagement. Holy shit. All of these tier 1s in a tiny choke point against Cam
wait,
Skunk.
what? What the fuck did Tatanka just do?
Did you not see that attack? Oh my god. Kolaru's starving.
No, I did.
The snakes are out. Can Kolaru do this in time?
Oh my god.
The units are down, but there's so little actually able to kill the mills. And
no, he doesn't need to kill the mill. He has enough time. He has enough time. He should.
But Kolaru's not getting any reinforcements.
He needs to go back right now.
Okay, he needs to go back and build that second mill in the back. Oh, he's got the farm on his base.
Oh shit,
he doesn't have enough food! Oh, bad selling from Kolaru. And I think with Tatanka has the snake warren. 1 snake is out. And snakes are really good in these sort of low eco situations. The moles are coming round. Oh my god, the moles! No! They get on the farm!
Holy.
Oh, this has been a very back and forth game, but Kolaru, you need to queue the farm up and then sell. He almost made the same mistake and got his had the squirrels.
Yeah, if he just had 3 more tier 1, he would win this easy.
Yeah, now the difference between 6 and 9 squirrels here is going to be huge.
Maybe even if he had struck before the snake was out.
Yeah, there's
Even
two.
then,
If there was one snake instead of two, I think he'd have a chance. I don't
and you can just kill the
realistically see
pigs
how
while they're
he's
poisoned.
going to be able to
Like,
do
he just
this.
needs to commit. Like, there's no point in waiting at this point.
Wait, why is he going through the water? Just because it's easier to get on the pigs?
Yeah, I mean, shit, yeah, it's probably bad though. He needs to make a decision though.
Yeah, the longer this game goes, the more advantageous it is for Tatanka. He could
Yeah, there's
just
another mole out. Like,
smack.
no,
If he
why is
just
he
commits
backing
to both,
off?
why are you backing off now? You can't back off when half your
You
units
have
are
to go in.
poisoned.
At least put him on starvation. That's another.
Like, yeah,
60
if you knock out both the pigs, put him on starvation. He's got to sell. He doesn't have a lot of stuff to sell.
Like, you gotta kill a lot more army. Like, at least a couple more skills and the
If you
figure.
kill one of the pigs, then essentially you've killed one of his warrens as well, because he has to sell it. Kolaru is forced to go out of the cams, and he can't afford the second mill. He can't put another farm down. He's again pushing through the water, and yeah, the snakes can just handle this easily. Kolaru had so many chances to win this. Kolaru could have caused a big upset. But that little pond was causing him such havoc. But still, that's a shame. I would have liked to see Kolaru beat Tatanka.
Me too.
Okay, so Tatanka versus Urbane.
Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we've got Squirrel Mole, Falcon Skunk, Snake Boar. Against Squirrel Pigeon, Mole Falcon, Skunk Boar. So, Urbane is running this guy deck. Tatanka's running his variation with the snakes instead of pigeons. Same we saw as last game.
Yeah, the decks are essentially identical. So.
Well, theoretically, the snakes are there to kill the boar, but the pigeons counter that. So.
But we probably want the boar bomb in these sort of comps.
Okay.
They're gonna lose the boar anyway.
Mole forces a sell on the farm. I think that probably... I don't really think that's worth it. Urbane lost 5 from the mole taking damage and 5 from the mole coming out in the first place. So he's lost an extra 10 food. It's not really changed anything. Tatanka's now returning the favour with a mole on his side as Urbane puts another mole warren down. Both players moling each other.
Oh my god. Oh,
did that farm go down for... I was watching the Urbane side. Did Tatanka lose a farm?
No, he sold it at 38.
Oh, he got it. Okay. So, worse for Urbane then.
Yeah, that's kind of game in there at this point.
What is Urbane doing? Is it... I mean, they...
Oh my god, he needs to be going tier 1 right now.
I mean, the mole died, so that's 20 food right there. Plus, Urbane was able to get an extra 20 food of damage on the farm. So he's really only lost... Having to, like, replace that farm, he's only cost him an extra 20 food. Like, it's not that big a lead.
I mean, there's just time for the moles to deny the mill. It's their units filling.
Urbane going hard on that second mill. While Tatanka's got the second... Oh no, I thought he had... Okay, he does have a second tier 2 warren. With a map this size, I'm not opposed to Urbane's greed here. Especially considering he needs some way to get back in front. Because I do think... I don't think he's far behind, but I do think he's behind. Okay, Tatanka going up to 4 farms. Both players have 2 tier 2 warrens. Urbane going a lot harder than a tier 1 though. which is going to let Tatanka get out an extra couple of farms. So Urbane probably wants to go back and sell the pigeons to put it into eco. He sells a squirrel warren instead. Fine, not what I would have done, but it's not a big difference. I like selling pigeons if I'm not if I don't think I'm going to be in combat in the next 10-20 seconds. I prefer selling pigeons because they actually contribute nothing outside of a fight, whereas at least squirrels can kill the commander and act as a better deterrent. What are the results so far? Hang on, gent. So we did Coloru versus Roman, where Coloru won. We did Roman versus Fleur, where Roman won. We did Tatanka versus Coloru, where Coloru should have won, but Tatanka won instead. And now we're doing Tatanka versus Urbane. And both players, having got up to 16 farms, are just spamming tier 2s. Both have their boars up. Coloru, I gotta say, that last game where you had that great fight where you got all the squirrels and moles in that tiny choke point, right where your cams decloaked on them and the skunks had pre-gas, I really thought you'd won it then. Ah, hello Delphius. You get a chance to be on the other side of the casting equation. Yeah, Roman beat Fleur. Roman came out with a 5 tier 1 deck and just rushed him when Fleur tried to expand and put an early tier 3 down at the same time. Just absolutely snowballed. Okay, so balls out for Urbane. Army is even-ish.
Urbane could just cliff boost here and get easy win off of that.
I'm pretty sure Urbane could just destroy that 3rd mill. Okay, let's see how this fight goes. Focusing the Falcons. It looks like Tatanka's winning this. A lot of those Falcons are staying at low HP. He doesn't even kill the boar! 2 HP on the boar. Oh, that's GG.
Oh my god.
Tatanka's won. Yeah, Urbane agrees. Urbane had the army advantage there too. Tatanka just either had the better split or the better micro. And that's already taking us to our... Unless you want to do... Sasha, would you be opposed to doing the other Maya matches, given how quickly these have gone? Because I'm probably just going to keep streaming till the PBC starts anyway.
You mean who?
Do you want to do the other Maya matches as well after this? Because I'm probably going to do them anyway, because I'm just going to keep streaming until the PBC.
Oh, nah, probably not, sorry.
Okay, well I'll do them myself then, just for fun. Alright, so we'll go to Olive versus Fleur, which will be the last... Yeah, I know they were cast already, but I didn't watch them, so... And what else am I going to do, gent? There's no reason they can't be cast twice. Get a different perspective on it. Okay, so you ready for the last game? Olive v Fleur?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got Squirrel, Lizard, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Badger from Fleur. Again, a this guy deck, but with Lizard instead of Moles. And Urbane with Squirrel, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Badger, Machine Gun. So, another this guy deck, but with Machine Gun instead of Moles.
Have you ever been interested in tabletop war games, or in the digitization of them?
What, like Warhammer and stuff?
Yeah, but even other ones, like World War II ones, etc.
I mean, it seems like too much effort when you... Any game that involves you having to, like, get out a measuring tape and do maths.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying playing the like digitized version of them. Like
I
the ones
wouldn't.
you got on
I would
Steam.
be willing to give it a go. I do like the lore and stuff. But
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that's talking about Warhammer specifically. But in general, yes, I'm willing. I'm open to the concept.
wait, does the medieval period interest you at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel your Field of Glory 2 medieval.
Never heard of it.
Okay, let me send it to you because I've been playing with it recently. I played it on and off
Field
before.
of Glory 2.
It's the medieval version, not the ancient version.
Medieval. Well, before I spend some time watching the trailer for that, let's actually focus on the game. Although neither player is keen to make a move, both just going squirrel, squirrel, tier 2. Sort of like the standard pattern if ever there was one. Though Fleur going for a tier 3 instead of a mill. I was expecting a mill around this time. This would be where I'd start expanding. Urbane, yeah, see, Urbane expands, and Urbane has also got a second tier 2 one going. They should be coming in now to get the scout, and I don't think Fleur can stop it. No.
Like an early, like a one-base Badger or one-base Boar, if you don't have tier 3 to respond to it, it's going to be a really hard time defending, regardless of what tier 2 combo you have.
Well, Urbane is putting down a machine gun, which I don't think will help in any way. Like, if that boar comes in, 2 machine guns aren't... Well, I mean, I shouldn't underestimate machine guns. They can fuck you up if you don't take them seriously, but I think a boar can kill both of these, like, in a few seconds, so... I'm not really sure what Urbane's going for here. I mean, he's got 6 falcons coming out, which is... Oh, sorry, it's not a boar, it's a badger. I thought it was a boar for some reason. Okay. Well, 6 falcons versus a badger. I mean, if the badger gets these 9 squirrels and 9 lizards, I back Fleur with it. Pretty handily, I'd say. I'd feel comfortable going into that. Fleur's expanding as well, which I don't really think he needs to. He's just supply blocked himself. And it's like, is this game, like, surely you just get out this stuff and... I thought he was going for a 1 base all in. Like, just committing to the 1 base push. But he's splitting the difference and putting a couple of farms down, which is just going to give Urbane more time to adapt. Fleur isn't pushing. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess 6 falcons is scary. But he's letting Urbane just set up defences, although not all of them seem to be particularly useful. Given that, I mean, Fleur can come through the water here, get onto this cliff, this plateau, and then just attack straight onto this mill where there's no defences. Although some are coming out now. So again, Fleur's just missed their moment.
No, bro, dude. Fleur's army crushes Urbane.
Yeah, but they could have crushed for the last, like, minute and a half. Oh, this is really good for Fleur. He gets to get free rev on the machine guns because Urbane isn't there. And this is going to be a crushing defeat. I just can't see Urbane holding this. And this mill is heavily invested in. 4 farms on that mill. Goes down, so that's 300 food. The badger's still healthy, still fully revved. Yeah, no reason to keep pushing into the machine guns. Just heal up the badger and then go back in. And that's GG. Fleur takes it over Urbane. Now I'm going to go get these other replays because that was quick. You sure you don't want to stick around?
You want to fill what, you do stuff now? Or...
No, I'm going to do the other replays.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm going to be going in.
Alright. Well, hopefully see you in a bit for the pocket bot.
Probably not going to be going in either.
Alright. We'll see you then.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Urbane knew the Badger was coming. They just didn't do anything. They built 6 Falcons and then stopped. And then they spent 300 food on a mill. That wasn't necessary because you expect your opponent to do sort of one base all in there, which Urbane just wasn't prepared for. Urbane just simply didn't put enough of his food into army. And it's not like Fleur didn't give him opportunity. I was criticising Fleur for taking too long with their attack. Okay, so what have we got? We've got Collaroo Fleur, Tatanka Fleur, Tatanka Romin, Olive Collaroo, and Olive Romin. Hang on, and also I can get out of this voice chat. So let's start at the bottom with Olive versus Romin. At some point I need to go through this and clear up my replay folder, but it's really like it's not a fun thing to do, especially with how I've been asking for quality of life changes to the replay system for like 3 years. It is so inconvenient. Every time you select one and go back, it will take you all the way to the top. If you scroll down to the bottom, it doesn't scroll back up. It's just a faff. Anyway, Olive versus Romin. Enough bitching. Let's move on. So what we got? We got Squirrel Mole Falcon, Skunk Cambor against Squirrel Mole Falcon, Skunk Snake Boar. Okay, so again, variations on this guy deck, which has sort of become the standard deck. This very much takes me back. Casting tooth and tail while drinking pints. Urbane definitely has a better map in this situation. And deck-wise, I'd give it to them as well. I think... the variation is, Roman has taken cams instead of pigeons, and Urbane has taken snakes instead of pigeons. Snakes are good against... Oh, sorry, I missed this mole attack here, which failed to actually kill the pig. I was too busy talking about the map and the deck. Oh yeah, it's good to see Badger back. It's also good to see multiple tier 3s being a thing. If you see Melvin and Tanker game, they'll always be they'll most of the time be taking multiple tier 3s. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, the pigeons have been taken out of both decks. And cams have been put in for Romin, which snakes already counter, and snakes get the benefit of there not being the pigeons in either player's deck to counteract the poison. So I definitely think Urbane has the advantage in the deck. He has the advantage in the map because he's got all of these close mills, and he's got advantage in the tempo because he killed this Mole Warren without losing his farm and is now on Roman's front doorstep building up a squall push. So this is all Urbane all the way at the moment. And Urbane even has an extra Squirrel Warren. And it's looking like that's going to be a deciding factor. That's one farm down. He's focusing the second. It's 2 farms. 1 farm is recoverable, but 2, that's the sort of death knell time. I mean, Roman doesn't even get that Warren. He did get a farm. He got that corner farm. But I think he was done. Although, he did have the higher army value at the moment. He'd taken one of the farms out. It's possible Roman could have fought that out. I think it would have been worth trying because Urbane makes... I mean, you're hoping for, you know, an extremely good fight on your end where your opponent basically fucks up. But it's not so extreme that it's completely unreasonable. It's not unimaginable. It's not a miracle that you're after. It's just a big mistake. So we did Olive versus Roman. Let's go Olive versus Coloru. What I want to save... I want to know... I think we'll do Tank of a Fleur last. Sorry, I'm just trying to plan this to see if we can get a good climax going. Actually, no. We'll do Coloru versus Fleur last. We started with a Coloru game. We'll end with a Coloru game. And I think Coloru versus Fleur... I don't know. Is the difference between Coloru and Fleur bigger than the difference between Tatanka and Fleur? I think Coloru versus Fleur will be a closer game. But I have a tendency to underestimate Fleur. Anyway, for now we're definitely doing Urbane versus Coloru. I think they'd be closer, but like I said, I systematically underestimate Fleur every time. For some reason in my head, they have just, like... My memory has just stalled at them being a mid-level player. Even though they are probably a better player than me at the moment. In my head, I've just got them, like, ranked around the 400 mark. Hey, Lucas. I think that's probably because... And other old boys in the Tooth and Tail community might be able to confirm this, but there's something about, like, you already being an established player, and then someone comes in and you learn their name when they're a noob, and then they go on to be better than you. Like, you never really... Because you never really fucking click with it. Oh... Good. Oh my god, that's huge mole value from Urbane. Oh, and he already places one down immediately. Does Coloru spot this? He does. Oh, Coloru. Coloru's got to pull out something here. Yeah, I think Fleur is a good player. Like I said, I think Fleur actually has a favourable win record against me at the moment. Or at least a win rate. But, yeah... If you're introduced to someone as a noob, it's very hard to unlearn that. Like, there's still a part of me that is always, like, expecting myself to beat this guy. Like, I trained this guy to be good at this game before he surpassed me. I was teaching him the fucking basics. And there's still some part in my head, despite the fact that he's massively above me in every ranking, there's still some part of me that expects myself to beat him. like every time we fight. It's just it's very hard to unlearn like what they've been established as in your head. But maybe that's just a me thing. I don't know if any of the others feel that way. I think I'm probably the longest running Tooth and Tail player at the moment, though, because Gent has basically retired. He's running the tournament now, but this has been a long time coming, and he doesn't really play much. Delphius is casting intermittently, but doesn't really play much, or at least I don't see him playing much. I think I'm probably the longest serving active player, and even then I'm only playing well, we can discuss it after this, as Colaru gets his cams in at the flank, but there's just not enough squirrels backing it up, and the Squall build just is so devastating. I mean, this is what this guy deck is for. It's for these mid-game squirrel mole skunk pushes. QQ, yeah, QQ. I think I do more active service still than QQ. But yeah, I play in the league, I play in the tournaments. I don't think there's a tournament I've missed. And I still do the PBC every week, which I think is enough to warrant me as an active player, even if I'm not doing 2 hours of ranked every night. Okay. So that's another loss from Colaru. Okay, we're going to go to Tanker versus Roman. Then we'll make our final decision about... I think we will end on Colaru versus Fleur. See if Colaru can get some last minute redemption. But let's start with Tatanka versus Roman. Now, pretty obviously, Tatanka's heavily favoured here. So I imagine Roman gets the underdog status, where his win will count for double. It's a bit crazy I'm still seen as a newest top 5 player. Who is the top 5 at the moment? You, Melvin, Sasha. Then is it still Mishi and this guy? Has Fleur broken into there? Like, I've not seen Gent play in a while, but I've got a feeling that if Gent could pick up the controller now and probably, still get in the top 10. Yeah, Urbane did come 4th, but... Are you not, Lucas? I mean... we're calling this deck the This Guy deck. We've seen that basically every fucking game here. Another fucking big mole. We've also seen, these fucking mole pickoffs. Weirdly, consistently on all of these. Usually people watch out for those very hard, but maybe Roman's, that could just be his inexperience showing. But yeah, it's hard to break in the top 5 now. It's established. I thought you'd be Lucas. I honest to God, Lucas, the fact that people 3 years later are still running the squirrel, pigeon, mole, skunk, falcon, boar deck, the fact that that is still the meta. And that's after skunks and moles got a nerf because you were so good with them. I honestly think you might be the most influential TNT player. Possibly Delphius, but he wasn't influential as a player, he was influential as a caster. Gent was influential as a tournament runner. and was a really big player, but like his stuff wasn't really repeatable. Like he had a multitude of decks that he like picked based on the situation. I think there's a good argument that this guy is actually the most influential. Although that just could be because, and purely because it is called the This Guy deck, and that has been the meta for God knows how long now. Which, I've got to be honest, was a shit name. I really wish, Lucas, that you had picked a better name, because the This Guy deck is really awkward to say. Well, no, Tatanka, it's like the core 5, it's like those 5 units plus a tier 3. And then when you've got that sort of like standard template, if there's only one unit different, which has been the case for almost all of the games, it's like a This Guy deck with a variation. Anyway, moving on to Tatanka versus Fleur. But again, see? Squirrel, mole, falcon, skunk, snake, boar. So, one unit different. Snakes instead of pigeons. And Fleur is running squirrel, lizard, pigeon, falcon, skunk, badger. So, one unit different. Lizard instead of moles. It's just easy to call it the Guy deck. It's like the TG deck. The problem with this deck, the problem with your name, Lucas, is that This Guy was deliberately a generic name. Which means it's really shitty as a label. I think Guy deck is better than the TG deck. It's not going to... Lucas Nickus deck isn't probably going to catch on. The Nickus deck? The Nickus. Does Nickus have a meaning? Is it just like a surname? Anyway, we got more moles coming out. More mole harassment, but on that initial farm, but Fleur's able to spot it this time. Nickus was my dog. Ah, that's cute. But yeah, you have a move in a competitive game named after you, which officially means that you are just as influential as Mango. Like, there is no difference. Not hyperbole or sarcasm. And the best part of my voice is that you won't be able to tell if I'm being serious or not. But yeah, it was a weird thought that I had when I was doing my last casting session, that I don't think there's any other... I guess we had the Pile deck. Pile also got a deck named after him. And I used to refer to stuff as a QQ deck. There's still what I consider to be the QQ deck. But I don't think that's caught on as much, and the Pile deck barely gets used because lizards have been nerfed into the ground. Whereas, like I said, the Guy deck is, you know, the meta. Because it's just, you know, it's really easy to pick up, and it's really flexible to a variety of situations. Well, the Collaroo deck is to go random and change one unit, but it's kind of hard to pick those out. It's more like the Collaroo method rather than the Collaroo deck. I refer to it in my head as doing a Collaroo, where I go random and then make an alteration. Okay. Well, let's focus on the game at hand here. Just briefly. Both players are getting their tier 3s down. I would give it to the Badger over the Boar, but Tatanka has the Falcons and the Snakes, which I think moves it in his favour quite substantially. Nah, Tatanka doesn't have copyright over Wolf Owl. Was it even Tatanka who discovered it? Wasn't that Sasha or QQ? Like, the first person I saw going... Like, I'm pretty sure the first person who cracked the Snake Wolf Owl was QQ. And I'm pretty sure it was Sasha who spread it. It was just Tatanka who mastered it, but I don't think that's enough to call it a Tatanka deck. Fleur moving in, and it's not going well. It's not gone great. Those snakes just absolutely obliterated him. I mean, the army was... I mean, Tatanka was a bit ahead in army, but I'm kind of confused as to why they went so badly for Fleur. I mean, Tatanka's army actually went up during that fight. It was that vicious. Whereas Fleur lost his entire comp. I can't remember the full thing, but I definitely had... I'm sure it was QQ who came up with it. Because I was playing QQ a lot. And we were talking while we did it. And it was something like... I think it was something like Squirrel, Lizard, Snake, Wolf, Owl, Mine was what he was running. And then I think there was a patch, and Wolf Owl stuck around after that. Okay, this is bad for Fleur. He moves his Lizard to the side to try and get a flank, but they just get found out. And he loses all of them for free. He's got this Badger, but there's no way the Badger alone can take a dozen Falcons, plus the Squirrels, plus the Snakes, plus the Boar. That Badger's already poisoned. Its fate is sealed. That was a devastating win by Tatanka. I don't know what went so wrong for Fleur that 5-minute mark fight. I kind of want to go back and check. Well, I'll attribute at least I will attribute at most a third of the credit to you, Tatanka, but I'm almost certain it was QQ who discovered it, and then it was Sasha mouthing off in the Discord that got people to learn about it. But then we had you running it every PBC, which, you know, solidified it as, oh shit, no, this actually works when put into practice really fucking well. I want to check what happens at this 5-minute mark, because how the fuck did this go so wrong? Because that army graph is not a huge split, and there's only a couple of units over here that haven't reached yet. I wish there was a slow motion I could use. So a Falcon gets picked off there, nice and early. The snakes put in huge damage. I guess it's because the skunks for Fleur didn't actually do much. Like, the squirrels just walked past the gas. No, wolf owl, not badger owl. Yeah, I'm genuinely confused at how this works. I think it's just the fact that the skunks for Fleur were useless, whereas the snakes for Tatanka got huge value. Plus, a missed micro let Tatanka pick off a falcon really quickly before the fight even happened. Okay, so we're going to... So... Claim on Badger Owl. I feel like I should get some credit for... I'm basically claiming like 3 tier 3 decks as a concept. Because that was always my specialty. They don't really work so well these days. Or actually, I think they work perfectly well. It's just I'm much worse. I'm much more out of shape. I think there is a niche for a triple tier 3 deck. I just need to like practice enough to find it. I don't know who you could claim Badger Owl for. And again, Badger Owl is only 2 of the 6 units. Like, the rest of the deck does matter. The reason I'm comfortable calling a this guy deck is because that's like a solid 5. That's like usually a 6 unit set. And at least a core of 5. Claiming a deck claiming only a 2 unit combo is like more of a stretch because that's so easy. Oh my god, Meek! What the fuck happened to Meek? I haven't seen them in ages. I know we're trying to get Scratch together for Aralu to have a laptop so he can play again. But where did Meek ever go? Because Meek loved to play crazy shit. Meek was like my favourite person to play against for a long while. Even though I lost a lot of my games against him. It was just fun. Squirrel, skunk, snake, wolf, owl. Okay, let's move on to... Okay, I'm gonna try and focus on the actual game this time. Colliery versus Fleur. Let's see how this goes. So, Colliery with his triple... This is the same deck he's used in the other games. Squirrel, Pigeon, Ferret, Falcon, Skunk, Cam. 4 tier 2s. And Fleur with Squirrel, Lizard, Pigeon, Falcon, Skunk, Badger. So, what he's been running as his variation on the Guy deck, just lizards instead of moles. And it's still only 6, so we still got an hour to the PBC. So I might just hop onto ranked, or I could go through the rest of my replays and see like, just see what I've got. Yeah, it's going to be a long stream tonight. I hope you guys are ready for a tooth and tail marathon. Also, can we turn the music up? Is it? I've only just had the sign-up notification, so no, I think the Pocketbot Cup starts in 50 minutes. Does it? Did I miss a daylight savings time again? Because in the Tooth and Tail chat, it says today at 6, which is 8 minutes ago, Pocketbot Cup has just opened. But if I go to the Pocketbot Cup, it's not actually there. Let me try and sign up and see what happens. No, Melvin and I have signed up. Alright. So, focus. So, both players have gone for a second meal. Collaru's going heavier on the tier 2. I mean, of course he is. He's got a 4 tier 2 deck and no tier 3. I think he's going to regret having ferrets instead of snakes. Given that Fleur has a badger. Collaru's only real answer to the badger is to just mass falcon. Collaru currently has no tier 1 ones, which is risky. The tier 3 is scouted. Both mills are scouted. $460 falcons or 48 badgers. I mean, that's just under 10 falcons per badger. So I would say the falcons, because I don't think badgers can do a 10-to-1 falcon ratio. It's more like a 9 or 8. But I don't think... I think once you get to about 4... I think once you get 6-to-1, the falcons win. I think a badger can take 4 falcons. 6 falcons take the badger. And who knows what happens at 5 falcons, but... you know, that's a mystery for another time. Is it even possible to get up to 460 falcons? I mean, at 2 a go, that is 230 warrens. Is there enough space? There's going to be some maps where there's just not enough space to put that many warrens down. In fact, I don't know if you can do that most of the time. I've definitely seen tier 1 warrens go into the... I've seen tier 1 go into the triple figures. I don't know if I've seen tier 2s go into triple figures. Okay. Well, Collaru's starting to poke. He's got his cams moving forward for an ambush, but Fleur is scouting it. Okay, that badger takes half its HP immediately. but the cams do get decloaked. I think... Oh, can that badger get focused down? The badger isn't really doing much at the moment because it's so low HP, but the squirrel, the pigeons are keeping it alive, and Colaru is forced to retreat. Loses all his falcons, all his cams, but keeps his ferrets and skunks alive. Army Graph says it's a mostly even trade, slightly better for Fleur because he started with less and they ended up equal. And as you can see, because he's got all that tier 1, his army rebuilds a lot faster as well, which is the problem with doing a high value deck like this. Both players have 8 farms, but Colaru's are still building, so he's going to be behind in eco as well. And Fleur is able to pick up this campfire and get a 3rd mill started. Although Colaru's going for a 3rd mill as well. I don't really know what the point of putting the ferrets here are. I don't think... I mean, Colaru could try and, like, run around with his commander to get some vision here, but I don't think the ferrets would be able to hit. And Colaru sells the ferrets, which I think is, you know, a good thing to do. There's not much they're going to be contributing, to be honest. I remember the 100 moles. Around 5 should kill a badger in 1 burst. But do they all get 1 burst? I guess this is just a badger with no pigeons or no support. So yeah, I think honestly, yeah, 5 falcons probably takes a badger. Colaru has all of his cams over here. He's got to be going for a base race, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, Fleur is moving in. It looks like we're getting a base race going. Colaru needs to immediately run and take this mill, because there's no way he holds against this. This mill goes down, but the cams are being drawn back. Colaru is trying to bring his army back to fight, but that's a mistake in my view. Colaru needed to go for the base race. He had his cams there. He had 6 cams. He can blast through a mill so quickly. If he, I honest to God, like Colaru had these 3 mills. If he'd taken this mill or the one he just killed and just brought his cams down, I don't think with Fleur's army here, I don't think he gets back in time. Like, the cams move. This one was dead. You squash this. You're on the road, so you can quickly get up to this one. Meanwhile, Fleur has to decide between fighting the army that's here. Fleur has to decide between moving down up here or up here. If he has to get all the way up to this top corner, there's no way he makes it. If he has to go fight the army, I mean, the cams blast this down in a few seconds, and the army is probably only going to get up to like here. I guess he had lizards, which would be fast, but there's not much 9 lizards could do against 6 cams. They could maybe hold them off for a bit, but honestly, Colaru could just like ignore them and just rally all on this mill here. I genuinely think Colaru could have won a base race there. I kind of want to go check. Like, take another look and see if Colaru would have made it. And I mean, let's try and find where where it all goes wrong. Like, because Colaru's got no tier 3, it's hard for him to like scale into the late game. But he does have falcons and cams, which do actually are like, if you get like 8, they're sort of a quasi tier 3. This fight, I mean, if that badger had gone down, which it was close to, then this would be a whole different game. But Fleur kept it alive, which I think is probably the deciding factor. I'm also, like, if this... I don't think Kolaru would have been able to hold. He might have, because Badger is micro-dependent, so you can't really, like, objectively say, oh, it would do this so-and-such damage. But with all of these cams, if they were here, maybe it would have been a different fight. But I don't think it would have, because you can tell by the army graph how far ahead Fleur is. But you've got the 2 cams here and 4 cams that are already here. 4 cams are what you really... 4 cams can blast through a mill, even with the 8 pigs on it. And they can do it quick. At the moment, Fleur only has his Badger shooting. Okay, so that mill has already gone down. If Kolaru just, like, runs over here... Kolaru is standing here. I mean, a part of it is that Kolaru wasn't prepared. Kolaru ideally should have already been running up here with his commander. It's like 2 seconds. It's like 5 seconds to take out that campfire. Let's say an extra 5 seconds to run over. So 10. Then about 5 to get over here. Let's round it up to 10 to take it down. So 5, 10, 15, 20... And then over here, that would probably be 10 seconds altogether. So, like 40. Sort of like under a minute. Like if Kolaru had taken this mill that had just blown up, or this mill over here, I'm not sure if Fleur would have been able to actually stop it. He could have run back with his lizards quite quickly. But there's so many cams that they probably have time to kill the lizard. So let's say Kolaru needs a full minute. You go 5. From here we go like 5 up to here. 5 to destroy the campfire. That's 10 seconds. Then 15 to destroy this. That's 25. Say it takes an extra 10 seconds to destroy the lizards. That's 35. And then an extra 10 seconds to destroy this. That's 45. 45 seconds for Fleur. And Fleur, if he burrows back to micro his lizards, he can't move the rest of his army. So it's not like these are going to be chasing up. Fleur has to destroy this mill, and this mill, and this mill. And at least one of these. Possibly 2 or more, because Kolaru could even take the campfire. This is the last game that we just watched. I'm just trying to figure out whether or not Kolaru could have made a base race work from here. I think he probably could have. And I think either way, it was definitely a lot more likely than trying to bring his cams back all the way here to fight once he'd already lost a mill, God knows how many warrens, and most of his falcons.